it glad you came. I see what you're about. You play the short game. You don't know no one out here, but I'll make it glad you came.
Disciplined stoners. What's your discipline? You a stoner? That's cool. So are we.
I'm high a lot. It's weird to finally say that with pride. I'm high a lot. Being high has helped me with my anxiety. It's helped my social skills.
Love and light. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners Podcast with your host Ellevan.
And my name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness.
I finally went medical. Obvious. Used the referral code DISCIPLINE on Mendo. Signed up, set an appointment, got my medical card from this awesome person.
I have a podcast called Disciplined Stoners, so I'm very front-facing about my cannabis usage.
Inflammatory way.
Oh.
So it helps with memory, focus. The document itself will be ready by the end of the workday today.
Oh, wow.
Once it's ready, you can expect to be making orders from them within 24 hours or less of this phone call.
Wow. Nice.
They just pair your new medical license with your account on Mendo so you can get right to it. And let me tell you, I certainly did. See this, Miss Kim? And these 7-gram smalls, apples and bananas, these things I never found before in flour or that quantity. It's crazy.
Order received. Dope.
A couple days later, this discreet little box made it in my mailbox, and I got to it like a kid on Christmas. Feels good to be a patient of this deliciousness. I'm glowing in happiness.
Wow. We're good.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners. I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today...
Holy!
Finally.
Today, our next guest has a vast history in both cannabis and comedy.
She's an OG.
Owner of the former legendary The Underground Comedy 420.
She's a legend herself.
Producer of so many comedy shows in the city of Toronto and surrounding area. You've been so generous to me with your shows. The kind, the awesome. Please welcome PuffMama! Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
I can't believe it's taken us this long to actually get you on the show. Yeah, grab your joints,
Get your joints.
edibles, vapes, beverages, oils,
Blaze with
topicals.
PuffMama.
What am I smoking here? Is this sativa, indica?
That's the dough.
I don't know where I'm gonna go.
It's an indica dominant hybrid.
Yeah.
And it's by Premium Cannabis.
I think.
Okay, so I'm gonna be stupid this podcast. This week.
Perfect.
It's hitting me pretty hybridy. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we've known you in so many capacities. We've had crossovers in many ways, but like generally just to get the tip of the iceberg, the historical underground club that you started in Toronto.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had anything to talk about before that, but I just want to get it all out on the
Totally.
table.
I think, it's such we need to talk about it, so we might as well start with it. When did you open the club? Are you really good with dates? And memory?
2008, 2009. But my first show I ever did was in 1999.
As a comedian.
No, as a producer.
As a producer of shows.
I didn't step on a stage until pandemic hit.
No
What?
way!
No. Yeah.
What?
No, I ran that club the whole time, and maybe towards the end I jumped on it here and there, but never hosted, never did anything.
Oh my God.
So when you started producing shows, did that just come from a love of comedy?
Yep.
Did you always love comedy?
I used to work at a comedy club that doesn't exist anymore called Comedy Wood. They were on Bloor Street near Avenue Road. And that's where I met a lot of legends there. And I'd start by, I always had weed. And back then it was really hard to find weed. So I became the waitress who always had dime bags.
Yeah.
That's such a cool.
So that's how I met Joey Diaz that way first. That was one of my first legends I ever met.
Joe, you're fucking
Mitch
amazing.
Hedberg I met that way. I met A bunch. There's more.
That's
Ralphie
so
May.
good.
Yeah.
I met then. I met.
Did you always love comedy, like as a young person, like as a kid?
Yeah, my family's funny.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice.
Irish.
You're also an incredible baker.
I can be.
Oh my god.
I've been known to burn cookies too.
Cookies.
Baking's fucking hard. Okay, so with the underground, when you started it,
So much
can
about
you
you. It's
talk
like,
about
let's
like
dive
yeah,
in.
what your initial vision was, and if that's what ended up happening?
Okay, here's I'll just do a synopsis. So I worked in a comedy club, and then I started producing shows. The first one I did was at said comedy club, and it was we did a kind of a joke Y2K. We thought, oh, the world's gonna end, all the computers gonna die. So we did a show that night. Anyway, nothing happened. Computers were fine, and
Yeah.
Life went on.
But then at 2002 or 3, I guess 2003, the tsunami in the Pacific.
Oh yeah.
We did a big fundraiser and we rented out this hall that doesn't exist anymore, called the Latvian Hall, and they would let us smoke weed inside the hall.
That's right.
So we did all these shows for like 7 years, and just once a month I would just text. We had no social media. There was
Yeah.
no podcast. We just text people. Some people weren't even texting then.
No.
I think that was
Yeah.
on an email and
You have
phone
to call
calls.
people.
And call people and be like, yo, this is where the party was. And then we would just fill it up. And I'll never forget, like, the first party we did, this, like, old Latvian dude came up at the end and it's full of weed smoke. And he was like, how did you have this with no police? Like, how did I'm like, because you didn't call them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like you people. You're quiet, you're clean.
Yes, that is stoners, quiet and clean.
But they had raves there, so that's how I found out about it. I was like, well, fuck, they have raves there. They don't care about us.
yeah.
And then we just started doing shows, and then finally that place started closing down because it was falling apart. And then I thought, well, fuck, I'll just rent a place.
Yeah.
And then it grew.
Oh my
Literally.
god.
Okay,
We saw
so
Jay Okerson
I think
there.
it took me
Jay.
4 or 5 visits to your club to notice that all of the clocks were
Are at
not
420.
functioning.
Like when
Where
you
did that come from? Like the way that I just love
I think we had
everything about it.
In fact, it was the big one. Naomi brought it. You know Naomi, the elderly lady that shows up at all weed events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Naomi brought the clock, and it was like this big.
Okay.
And that was the big white one. Looked like an old school timepiece. Anyways, we set it at 420, and we took the batteries out. I was like, that's it. It's not changing. And then we just put it on the wall. And then next thing you know, all these clocks just and I'm not joking. I think there was 37 clocks when we closed the club.
Oh
Yeah.
I was just giving away clocks. Like, here's a box of clocks. Like,
That was such a
a few
unique
of them.
Easter egg that
It was
you
full
don't
of those.
necessarily notice the first time.
the comedians would notice. They'd be like, I'm sitting here on the stage, and they would often, back in the day before phone timers, people would look at whatever clock was on the wall
Right.
at comedy clubs. So they would stare at the clock. I would keep looking for the thing to move, and it's not. And now it just reels. I'm like, oh, joke's old.
Oh man.
It just got old after a while.
I loved it every time.
Every time, yeah, that was so good, and great shows would happen there, and
Definitely.
and a real good tight vibe that I've not seen anywhere else. That's so special, and I can only give it to the akin energy to almost like some poetry communities that I'm involved in like Scarborough, like where everyone sinks in and listens and leans in when a comedian's really doing well. And that crowd in that space, when it was all smoky and connected, it was a special type of vibe. And then you throw in some Easter eggs like that, and it's its own culture. Like you really, like you should be the case study for why matriarchy should work. Like you were guiding that space.
I mean, I'm
It
not
was so
going to
good.
argue on a matriarchy. but
Everyone had a good time, and everything felt fair, and it was just cool.
And it was
I don't know.
fucking poppin', dude. Like I love to go hang out in there. Like
Me too.
yeah.
it was fun, but
Would
anyway.
you so thank you.
Yeah, so thank you
that-
for that.
for that,
Publicly,
all of
we
that
want to give you
time.
your flowers and respect for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Love.
Is something like do you want to do that again ever? Is that...
Well, I can't do that again ever. They're not going to let me.
Well, like, okay, but what if, like, consumption lounges became a thing? Like, we're just dreaming upwards right now. Consumption lounges become a thing.
Let's say
and
they suddenly decide to take marijuana smoke off of, like, the bill that they put it on. Which,
Bullshit, Bill.
there's stupid shit. Bill 45. But anyway.
But if someone was like, oh, fuck, who would be the best to open a consumption lounge, and they were really rich?
I would be the best to open it. I mean, the club was great, but it made no money. We, like, just had a lot of fun.
It was for the culture. It's for the heart.
Okay.
I mean, even when we get big time comedians, and there was a few bucks made, but not off the comedy, liquor sales or weed cookie sales.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I didn't want to run the club as a place that was trying to profiteer off of it. So
It
at the
changes
beginning,
energy.
we had super cheap rent, but then then my landlord started extorting me. But that's a whole nother story.
Oh,
What really kills me is I was going by there the other day. It's all boarded up, the whole building.
Yeah.
I
like,
think
why
I
not
think
let?
they gave in to the condo company. And
Yeah,
they're
they're
just,
gonna tear it down.
They're just waiting. It's fine. It needed to be teared down. Yeah, shithole.
but it was cool. It was like the floor was even crooked, like walking in. I think, right?
It was not straight at all.
Yeah, no, and, like
Not
it
at
was
all.
like not at all. It was, but that added to like this almost Willy Wonka chocolate factory, or like this. It was just such an experience.
Yeah.
It was
It was
it was
so-
just a garage.
What?
It just insulated the roof of a garage and put crap on the walls, and no one figured that out.
You just dropped a bomb right here.
I'm trying to, like,
Joe
go
Puff Mama
back
just gave
into
us an
that.
exclusive.
It literally was that 70s show in the back room. Just
That's the magic of it. That's why it felt like that. Everyone started smoking weed.
That's
I
crazy.
partied in a garage.
It's not. I'm just
No,
like, I'm
that's the
trying to
best.
think of it. Yeah. You know what?
Everyone smoked weed their first time in a garage, or like hung out in a garage at one point and smoked weed.
Yeah. I did a comedy competition when I was very young. I actually quit comedy not long after that, and I have now restarted again. But I did a comedy competition that you were holding, and I got cut from the first round. I didn't get to come back for the second round.
I
And
remember
the
your
club?
name on the poster.
and then when I was leaving, because we didn't know each other that well at that time, like we're
We
really
were just
kind
fans
of
of
just
the club
like,
and ate your cookies through friends.
yeah, and and you like grabbed me and you're like, you should keep doing this, and
Did I?
like, yeah,
Oh, cool.
like, and I remember that like very strongly, and,
That meant a lot
and
to
then
me.
I didn't keep doing it,
thing
but I've
is that-
now come back to it.
Planted the seed.
No dissing the competition that we tried to create, but it was very easy to hijack. And I probably said that to you knowing that maybe whoever your competition was that night, because like a couple guys were like, okay, you can't bring 37 people, and now you got 37. Well, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got nowhere in
Yeah.
the rules that had no cap.
It was the dude
I
who-
don't think you had 37 people with you. So but then we also had the celebrity judges whose votes counted as 10 votes. So
Oh.
the idea was to offset that, but then even still at 37 people, like
Yeah.
even if you suck, you're bound to get second.
Yeah,
Like based
it's
on
okay.
numbers.
I was just happy to
So-
be attempting. My
I
sets weren't even that. I'm probably really embarrassed about those sets now.
No, but the beautiful thing was that you were getting up as a young comedian with the opportunity in a space that also, like, the weed community has a good listening energy for if you're trying to like work stuff out. I think it's a great room to have that opportunity to like try doing stuff to high audiences, because
Yeah.
it really makes you zone in. Like, it's not like getting just like contagious, chuckly, like drunk people going. Like, weed people will like
They'll listen. It's so sweet.
and
they don't react as much
They
as
don't
drunk
react,
people.
no.
And that would often throw, especially pro comics would come in,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "Why aren't you laughing?" And you'd be like,
just
"We are in our brains.
Yeah.
We're also assessing everything you just said.
yeah,
Totally.
and that's
It's
what-
okay."
You gotta come with the heat. There's that other great comedian, the guy with the curly hair. Oh man, I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Eric
Paul. Paul something.
No, he like came, like he's from your club, and
Paul.
yeah, you really gotta he performed at the
Paul Thompson.
Yeah.
yes, sweetheart, right?
He's so
Awesome.
funny.
He
You
is-
know,
brilliant.
Yeah, he says deep stuff because I think he worked out a lot of stuff in your room, didn't he? Like
My room, a lot at Vape on Lake too.
yeah. So
And other different places around the city.
I love
too.
comedians who have had
Corner.
to deal with high audiences because like they'll say some super real shit that you're just like, yeah, that's fucking true.
Yeah.
And then also they make it funny in the minute, but you're right. As a stoner audience myself, I like to marinate on things. Sometimes I don't even hear the next like 2 or 3 jokes because I'm just marinating on like one that resonated with me.
Honestly,
He's
I
done
feel
that a
like it's
couple
kind of a
times.
win as a performer if you are in a fully high audience and you can't hear a pin drop because you just know
good.
that they're all paying attention to you.
Exactly.
Like they're
Yeah, not
listening. They're just like,
distracted.
our brains aren't working fast enough to
Thing
get the
is
laughter
that the
out.
second a comedian says something inappropriate, you can fucking hear that pin drop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Or-
I've seen a high audience just like, and then the echoes are more than.
Yeah, but that's a different type of energy.
So-
There's a listening warmth energy with a little giggle and agreement, or some. It's almost like a general ohm of vibrational connection, and then when it's bad, perceivably, it's cold. You know, you can feel like the audience pull away.
Yeah.
Like
Because
They
they're
never,
so
they don't
sensitive.
ever really backlash though the way
a
drunk.
a drunk would.
No, there's
would
no
be like,
hecklers.
I can't believe you just said that. Where's the manager? We never really got that ever.
Yeah, so chill.
I briefly worked in
Once
a
in a
comedy
while.
club in Vancouver, and although it wasn't like really my style in terms of
yeah.
relationship and stuff, the owner was fucking awesome, and he wouldn't like if anyone like touched his waitresses in any type of manner, and we
Didn't
were
someone
like, yo,
grab your ass one time
yeah,
and threw
and
him
he
out?
just like he grabs them, throws them out. and it
Like
was
grabbed it. Good.
comedy.
You have
Yeah,
to.
it was so that was always good.
Yo,
in
take
regard.
that
No,
in.
It's okay. We cough on here all the time.
Yeah. So Winnie was a guest of Joe's, experience, and before that, she was a waitress at the Comedy Mix of Vancouver. Now to the point where she's like working into like her full-time identity being a comedian. It's been a journey of 10 years being in and around it, and you got to consistently give that.
Yeah,
And
I love comedy
that's-
too.
So yeah,
I always loved it.
great opportunity.
So if there's so many shows going on in the city, I feel like if you want to find comedy, you can find it in
That's
the city.
really
It really
For sure.
exploded after pandemic. I love that.
Yeah.
It's almost like, oh man, we're super depressed after all the bullshit.
We need
and
to
like,
laugh.
what do we need? We need laughter. And yeah, I've been in a couple of music shows too, and I've noticed the same energy in music. Like first time I was in a mosh pit, I was just like, oh man, I can smell body odor, and I'm not grossed out by any of the sweat, and it felt really good to be back in a mosh pit.
In harmony. In
Yeah.
harmony, however you resonate. I love that.
Jumping around.
Sick.
What is your like if someone wanted to start producing comedy shows in this city, do you have anything to tell
Or
those
why
people?
are you so attracted to it? Like, it's such a tough job. Like, producing an event, like, you're really drawn to it and just to keep going. But yeah.
Well, I don't do just that. If I did,
Right.
I did just that, then I'd be more successful, like Cannabis Comedy Festival or Danish Anwar shows, because that's all they do. They focus heavily on it. But
And you don't want to do that?
I mean, I do, but it's hard work.
But yeah, exactly.
And I like baking, and I've been doing these cookie reels
Yeah,
and art, and
You
I know,
bake
you're
really
like-
I
good.
want to get into doing more online stuff because
Good.
I don't know, I'm getting old and I need to figure out what I'm going to do when I'm 80, and I can't just be producing comedy
Baking
shows
is
when I'm
great.
80.
Although that would be fucking
That would be
balls.
lit.
I like it.
So what's the ideal? To have like a monthly or a quarterly or a yearly
Well, I like the pattern I have right
show?
now.
What's that?
Well, because I'm at Comedy Bar every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And once a month I do a all-girl show called All Star Bitches out of there.
Which one he's been on?
And
Thank you.
both those shows are set in stone for, as long as I don't piss off Comedy Bar. They're really good to me there,
They're
though.
good. That's a
Yeah.
cool
Really-
venue.
They're really good for
Aren't we going tonight?
supporting indie people in independent situations, and
Shout out Comedy
but
Bar.
they're organized enough that there's just like a paycheck every week, and it's up to me to write that paycheck.
Nice.
So when you really think about it, like they have their fees that they charge, but then in the end you can still be an independent producer.
It's a good partner. It's a good venue partner.
Shout out Comedy Bar.
I also been doing other shows elsewhere too. So I've got a couple of like secret weed friendly places where you know we do our Stoner Chicks show at this little place in Cabbagetown, and I do stuff once in a while, not as much as I'd like to, out in the Danforth. At Growers World. Oh, that was supposed to be a secret location. But anyway.
We can. We'll just.
I think the cat's out of the bag over there anyway.
If you want, we can cut it out if you want. But
We can bleep it.
if it's on,
no.
might be good promotion
No, they
too.
started when Cannabis Comedy Festival started doing more shows there recently, and I noticed that they're like advertising. I'm like, we're out on the Danforth doing it. I'm like,
Okay,
well,
nice. Nice, that's out.
Dank for.
I like that.
Oh,
the
I love a
Danforth.
good pun.
Where did you
Something-
grow up?
All over Canada, but mostly Orangeville.
Oh, word. Orangeville. It's a small town outside of Toronto.
Not so small anymore. Was when I grew up, but it's getting to be suburby.
Dope.
So it's starting to meld into Brampton.
Oh, word.
Paladins got squashed in between.
Oh no. Something that I love about your like hosting set that you do is that you incorporate fun facts.
Which Winnie has one on the show.
Yeah.
what's
I don't
your
know if
fun
you've
fact?
seen.
Well, I don't
Oh,
usually
they
do it.
change.
I don't do a fact with guests, but I've actually used some of your fun facts
Do it.
because I've heard them, and then I've
Have
been
you
like,
heard my
oh my
rant about
god,
space garbage?
no.
Okay, that's my new whole. I got a whole bit
Space
about
garbage.
the garbage in space.
Do we put garbage in space?
Go look garbage map at space.
Okay, because
There's a map. They have to map it all because everything's flying around, and it might like shoot through a spaceship as they're going up into space.
Oh fuck.
Like a tiny little nut
Okay.
has to be mapped because it might just like a bullet go through something.
Okay, I'm
And
feeling
sometimes things crash and then they make more garbage.
right.
But it's
So-
all like stuff that they've ejected, like stuff that. Anyway, I got a whole list of all the garbage.
I had
It's ludicrous.
The reason why I'm excited about this is because I have, and now I'm feeling like it's probably not a good idea, but I had this idea where why don't we take all of the garbage on the planet and shoot it into space? But now I'm hearing that that's probably not the best idea. Can't we just shoot it
Okay.
so far that it like doesn't come back to Earth? We don't have
So
that
what's
technology
happening with
yet?
space travel? Why is it a problem?
Okay, well, here's a dark fact, and I'm trying to incorporate this in the bit without people going, what? But pretty soon, if there's any more garbage, we won't be able to leave the planet because the spaceships won't be able to find an orbit to get there.
Oh my god, there's so much space
There's
garbage.
that much garbage. And what pisses me off, okay, this
So
is
we
what
have
pisses
been
me
doing
off.
that idea, Win.
We aren't in space. We're not making the garbage.
Yeah.
And yet, like, there's Jeff Bezos in space, and look at all the garbage that Amazon makes, and like,
I know.
is that why you're going to space? You're just trying to escape your own fucking garbage.
Holy.
I know.
Trillionaires do.
Trippy dippy.
Or like, yeah. Anyway,
They
that's
have-
enough. I'm gonna take up your whole podcast talking about the garbage in space. But guys, look at
That's
look
awesome.
Look at that garbage map. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
I've loved your facts. I think I shared one about a human inside a whale or something. I can't remember it right now, but
Human beings could fit inside a blue whale's veins. We could swim through it.
oh yeah, I did do that one.
big veins.
After
Big
you,
veins.
I heard that in your bit. I was like, what the fuck? I have to
Think
That's-
about it. Think how big a whale is.
I
Of course,
know.
their veins are our size.
I know, but that just like because then you can put yourself inside the
Like
whale's
we've never
body.
done it. Obviously, it's just math. Circumference and diameter.
In my perception, though, that really like does something in my brain where
this
it
weed's
blows
making
my-
me stupid.
You done with that? You
No,
feel
but
okay
for a second while I laugh.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden I feel like I know I can feel how big a blue whale is for the first time. Because
Gives
I
you
know
perspective.
that yeah, right. I fit inside of its veins
Facts
and it
give you
has like a
perspective.
million. So it can fit pretty much all of the human beings inside it.
I mean, in a
probably.
line.
Yeah.
Not all humans, lots. My whole family for sure.
Do you have a how's your relationship with your family?
Great.
Is it actually good?
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, every family has issues, but
Yeah.
we're tight
Why do you think every family has issues?
because we're human beings and we're not robots. And thank God for that, because that just gives us lots of character.
Yeah. Do you feel like weed has like helped given you like more compassion in situations that you would otherwise?
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. In fact, I remember thinking one time when I'm on mushrooms and someone like there's something happened on the street in front of my club, and I remember being tripping balls on mushrooms, being like, "What is going on there?" But then if I was on weed, I would help that guy instead of being like, "This is curious," or
Yeah,
if, like,
that's
I was
true.
on whiskey, I might have been like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
so but I remember being like thinking about that on mushrooms, like, oh, it's the same situation. I'm the same person, and just because of what I'm on, I'm reacting different.
That's so true. Weed
Everyone goes about their day. Too much coffee, not enough coffee. Like too much yoga, not enough yoga. Like I don't know. It depends on whatever influenced us.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a substance.
No.
It could be a circumstance.
Yeah.
So.
Beautifully said.
And we're all like bouncing around like snooker balls.
I know. It's so interesting. I feel like weed has helped me become like more hyper aware of when I'm doing the bouncing.
Yeah.
You know, and so then I'm like, "Oh, I can continue this because it's familiar and easy. It's the easier choice." Or I can like slow down and like take a second and like actually assess the situation and like
getting high
move
and
about.
walking the dog. I hate to say it. I don't know if you get it when you walk your dog. If you get high and walk the dog and like, okay, life is okay.
Oh, yeah.
Reset. The
They
dog
get you
forces
out.
me every
Go for a
day
walk.
to reset that moment.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, it's the city. I got to be high while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so
Totally.
that helped me out a lot in pandemic.
Yeah.
Just getting super high and going for long walks. I'm like, everything's okay. Look, the leaf is still blooming. It's not a pandemic, really.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember having that with Ralph one year when you were away in Los Angeles and I had to be responsible for all of this dog's walks, which is a lot of work. One person walking, holy, you got lucky.
Shout out single mamas out here with the dog.
Yeah, for sure. And then, but also I was like, oh fuck, I would be way more depressed if I was not doing this. And because it's a living thing, you're like, oh, I have to take care of you.
yeah, like, look how much he's enjoying just sniffing on a pole. There's
Yeah.
no anxiety there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
They remind
something
us.
zen about
Yeah.
walking a dog.
If you don't have a dog though, you should still get out and walk.
Go for a walk.
Just go walk it. Go to the dog park and look
Yeah.
at the dogs.
Smoke a joint. That's what we used to do before Ralph.
Yeah.
We'd go to dog parks and be
Although
the
little dog
creeps.
owners, big dog owners never get weird out, but like little dog, who's that person in the park? They don't have a dog.
Yeah, because they're scared that they're going to scoop them up and run away.
Well, watch your fucking dog. It might poo at any moment. Like, I hate dog owners that go there and then they just don't like watch their
Oh.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be that dick. I'm like, excuse me, your dog isn't pooping, but also I'm totally going to be that person
Yeah.
that says, excuse me.
I
your
always
dog is-"
think that the person would want to know.
Right?
That's how I go about it when I do that.
Sometimes
I'm
they'll
like, oh.
sigh and go, ugh.
Yeah,
You're
they
like-
totally have done that before. And I've been like, oh, that's always shocking a little bit. Because I'm like, you didn't, oh, weird. Like,
The back of my mind, the mean part of me is like, oh, it's your dog's poo. I stepped in last time, I bet. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, you get all fucking.
But yeah, I don't want to be that person. So
Yeah.
anyway,
How long have you been baking edibles
Yeah,
for?
I want to talk about the how
You keep
much can we
talking
talk
about
about the
that.
cookies? The
I'm sorry I
cookies-
didn't bring any.
That's okay. They're so fucking good. You're such a good
Yeah, we
baker.
love your
Why?
cookies.
Why are they so good? What do? Do you do a spell?
Just after a while, there's not everything. I only, anyways. Yeah,
Chocolate
okay.
chip cookies?
Do you just do what you like?
Like a lot of butter, a lot of sugar. Don't use margarine. Don't use shitty ingredients. I don't know. I make a lot of good vanilla, like proper Mexican vanilla, not the crap at like Sobeys, unless it's proper Mexican.
You make it?
You can. It's easy, but sometimes I don't know if you know my friend Kim Stockins. She's she's always at a comedy show. She like long purple hair. Anyway, every time she's in Mexico, I'm like, give me like off a vendor off the street that Mexican vanilla.
Oh, word.
Oh,
And then she'll
Fresh.
bring me back like,
nice.
but there'll
And
still
that
be
makes a big
beans
difference.
stuck in it. And so if you want to have good vanilla, just go buy a vanilla bean, stick it in existing vanilla, and then it just becomes rich over time. And then you just like reuse that bean.
Ooh.
And then you can up the ante of your vanilla, or you
That's a
can
good
stick
hack.
that bean in sugar, and then like couple month, that sugar taste, all of it will taste like vanilla sugar. So there's all kinds of cute tricks, but not cheaping out on ingredients is like the best one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Also, in baking, there's a bit of alchemy. Just there's more in things like souffles.
Yeah.
Pastries.
There's a bit of what?
Alchemy, like
Alchemy.
science, but
Yeah.
specific kind of like making the chemicals, like the baking soda or powders,
Yeah.
work, and layering. Like you've got to have like the sugar added to the butter and whipped in, or sometimes not whipped in, depending
Do you follow
on the
recipes?
cookie. I kind of just grew up baking, so I'm only comfortable. A lot of the stuff that I'll make is stuff I made since I was 5 years old. Like
Oh, wow.
that exact chocolate chip cookie recipes. Literally, my mom found my grandmother's handwriting on cards.
Oh,
And she's like, look, and I'm like, holy shit, it's literally the same recipe still.
oh my
Mom.
God.
And do
You're
you
sharing your family
shortbread.
heritage.
Are you infusing butter? How do you make?
There's different ways, so depends. But
Oh.
yeah, you can make a can of butter. My recipe is on my website. Or you can do a decarboxing where you just toast the weed. So if it's good quality weed and not shake, you can just toast it.
Yeah.
It's a bit trickier.
What's your website?
PuffMama.ca.
And what goes on there?
Lots of things. There's comedy and baking and
Dope.
Do you have a hard time promoting yourself?
yeah, can you tell I'm like not looking at the camera? I'm like, guys, can we not talk about me at all?
And our guest. Never mind about
Well-
her.
Never mind.
Why do you think that is?
I just like doing
Humble
stuff.
by nature.
Yeah.
There's people that just like to do and don't like brag, and there's people that brag and they don't do. And
Yeah.
then most people are somewhere in between.
Yeah. We're definitely do and brag. I'm not sure
I'm
if
getting better at bragging a bit.
good. I think that we have a weird, as like societally, I think there's weird feelings around like what bragging is. Like we've decided that if you're bragging, it's like you're doing it in vain. You're doing it, and if it's not in vain, like if it's not like, oh, I'm the best, it's because you're super insecure. Like we've put all of these like labels around like what it is
I
to
don't
brag.
think I'm insecure as much as just like, oh, fuck, we already done it.
And
You're
yeah,
like, just-
exactly.
Oh, I didn't finish, by the way. There is a third method, which is melting distillates into butter. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
That's how most
Ooh.
people bake.
Oh,
Sorry, I just realized
Really?
how badly we segued, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's more. All you
Nice.
people like working with, that's how you make gummies, because you can't use weed for gummies. But I like the high I get off of like baking weed
Yeah.
into a cookie versus
That's the classic
distillate,
edible
which will
brownie.
sometimes just hit your third eye and your body's like, but I want it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
wait, how do you can you just melt distillate in a pot?
Okay, I got this miniature. Don't laugh. It's so fucking cute. It's for making a single egg.
Cute.
Like egg McMuffin pan.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
like Teflon.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's perfect for. I just take a tablespoon of butter, put it in that cute thing, and then I put the distillate in that, and then I melt it in, and then I add that to butter so it doesn't clump up. But that's a super easy way to do it. Or you can do it like with you make your own like mini double boiler with just like a little pot and a bowl of whatever on top.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But
Wow.
you don't want it to be like directly on the stove. You can easily burn it.
Yeah. That would be
But you
sad.
you still need to decarboxylate it, which just means getting the chemical ready to your body can accept it.
Yeah.
2:30 for like.
It's me
15
trying to
minutes?
talk on indica. I'm like, it's decarb. It's a long word.
Yeah, decarb. Yeah.
Yeah.
How I picture it, this is how I picture it, is that the THC molecule, picture that, you guys have seen that, it's like a bunch of sticks and like a Tinker toy, and then like on the side of it, there's this single stick just hanging out, and you can't absorb it when that stick is there. So heat will break that little piece off, then your body can absorb it. So it's basically how I picture it. I don't know if.
And that was
I
a
like that
little,
picture.
it was like a little safety tool that like nature put on the bud, so in case you eat it.
Yeah, I think it's also. I think we're intended to eat it. I think that's we have receptors in our body.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely you activate it, and now suddenly, woo! Like your body can really utilize the.
Yeah, you have to meet it with effort. You have to like warm it up.
What's your relationship with CBD?
I like it.
Do you use it regularly in your routine?
My dog, I give it to my dog. I give him super, 1,000 milligrams in like a little thing, and he gets a bunch of it, and he has way less anxiety.
Yes.
We have your CBD
But I
lip
do
balm
notice, though,
on our weed bar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I do notice that if you're smoking a lot of weed, all it does is it'll just bring your THC down a notch. You're not going to notice the CBD other than like the THC won't be quite so jagged.
Yeah.
The highs, the ups and downs. So that's why I always tell people, I'm like, well, if you're having a freak out, take CBD. If you're having a THC freak, because then they'll bond together. And it'll be more like, but that being said, about 5 years ago, the dog I had before was this pit bull named Mars, who used to walk around my club all the time. Rest his heart. But when he got really sick, when he got old, someone gave me a 1/4 pound of Cannatonic that they grew, which is a really high CBD strain. And I was like, sure, I'll give the dog this because he had cancer, and I was like, oh, I'll give him pain. And then after the dog died, I had a bunch of it left. I'm like, well, now I need this. So I made a bunch of weed cookies, and I didn't really cry. I know it sounds like dark, but in the end, I mean, like, you'd think, like, especially when your dog died, you're like, hey, my heart, I'm gonna jump off this bridge. But I'm just like, oh, that was really shitty.
Yeah.
And just like it, I think it worked.
It allows you to accept.
Yeah, and it's a really hard strain to find. So if anyone's really having a hard time in life, and you can find Cannatonic, it's fabulous. And you'll see all kinds of reviews online of people like me, like, oh, fuck yeah, we need to research this one more.
Gosh, I don't know if I've tried this.
Yeah,
It's impossible to find.
Oh, well, we're going on a hunt.
Catatonic.
Catatonic. You can write a rap song about it.
Yeah,
Do
definitely.
you?
Like I'm gonna.
Yeah. It
Do
sounds
you-
like this.
Yeah, it's like everything sucks, but I'm okay. Everything sucks, I'll be okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's the truth with like a positive spin.
Yeah. Acceptance.
Yeah.
I got very high from that joint that I rolled.
We all
Yeah,
got
I'm
nice
a
and high.
bit stupid, but whatever.
What a good way to cruise.
Do you have a favorite comedian, or
who
do
do
you
you
not
watch?
choose
Oh my
favorites?
god, are you gonna ask me to choose between my kids?
Well, like famous people.
Like, do you watch Netflix specials and really resonate with anyone?
I would say Rory Scovel, maybe.
Rory Scovel.
I think he's probably one of them.
Who is that?
Because I brought him up one time. He's from Georgia. He's an incredible man. He's just the nicest person, and he's a good guy, like a wife and babies, and like nice to comics, and he's fucking brilliant.
Oh, lovely.
So I think out of I mean, sorry, all the comedians I brought up, I love you all, but I love you too, Rory.
And thanks
But,
for watching the show.
Yeah. Shout out, Rory.
Yeah, he's really good at supporting independent stuff too. Okay, here's a segue story quick of something I watched in the pandemic. There's some dude, I think it was in Georgia. They have squatters laws. So this guy squatted in this building that he wanted to build a comedy club at, and basically ended up kicking out all the other squatters, sealed up all the holes, and like made a club, and Rory came and performed, and they did a comedy special on it.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I love these people. What are you just squatted? You did better than me. I just built a garage. Like, this guy squatted. Like,
that's gangster.
and like there's Rory with like his, Netflix specials and everything. I'm like, y'all come and fucking do this. And then they end up doing a whole doc about it.
Sick.
But I remember watching that in the pandemic and just being like, fuck yeah, like
That's sick.
it was cool. There's some ballsy people out there. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
I think
that's
because of
huge.
like red tape, it had to close up, but
Yeah, that happens.
I could be wrong.
Oh my god.
I should look that up before I tell
That's
lies.
brilliant. They got it for free just by like squatting. How genius.
Did the pandemic do anything for you? For a lot of people, it like really solidified, I think, things that either they like wanted to do and weren't doing, or like maybe they realized they weren't doing, are in something that they don't actually want to be doing. Did any of that come up for you during this?
Any epiphany moments?
And I just put everything on pause. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait 2 more weeks. He said 2 more weeks.
You lived it 2 weeks at a time, eh?
Literally. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just like throw some park shows. So we took over that park at Wood Point. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I threw everything in storage because they were like, oh, yeah, 2 more weeks. And no joke, guys. Like, I'm still kind of... All the furniture from the club is in storage still.
Holy shit.
I know. Oh, we got to get rid of it.
There's some
Hey, if anyone needs
yeah,
some furniture-
honestly,
some
we're
clocks?
gonna have a celebrity
I
auction.
still have 1 box of clocks.
That's
I
a
bet-
good idea. Celebrity auction.
Yeah, we should get your comedian friends together and create some offers on
God.
these pieces. We can just put it on your website
Fuck, that's
and just
a great
auction
idea.
off the clocks. It's a legendary
Help
club.
me get rid of my baggage. And what I was
It's
going to
art.
do is
It's
I
culture
talked
art
to,
from
do you know
time.
Jeremy Dobsky?
Hit us up.
He's scored a little space on
Oh.
the East End, a little art space, and he's got the basement. He did 1 show out of there, and I'm like, you don't even have a curtain or furniture. They just lined up a bunch of lawn chairs and like
I love it.
threw a show in there.
People will do
That's perfect.
comedy
Yeah.
anywhere.
So I'm trying to convince him, like, just take all the stuff, Jeremy, and if we throw it out later, so what? I just don't want to.
Yeah.
2 weeks is over now. 2 weeks and 2 weeks and 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So if I do reopen, I want all new crap now. Not
Yeah.
maybe new, but
You
cool.
deserve it.
No, that's what I see for you. If there is something that you could reopen, like I think there's actually opportunity. I don't know how close it is. Like,
Well, we figured out how
I
to
like
make
going
it.
all over the city. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm a
Yeah.
comedy bar here. Oh, I'm over here. I've
Yeah.
got like 3 other shows in the works, but I don't want to spill the beans yet.
Yeah.
But
no
but yeah.
spillage here.
No spilling.
No spillagio.
But,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
so yeah, I kind of like being independent and just we'll see.
And I like that you
We'll see.
host your shows now and that you perform and you're a comedian. This is awesome.
Do you think it's
evolution.
kind of crazy that like really famous people talk about you in your club?
Sometimes.
It's legendary.
Some of the guys I did not expect a nice shout out from Ryan Long and Bert Kreischer. I've got that pinned on my Instagram, but I was like,
It's really nice.
wow, and like Bert Kreischer's like, oh, we loved it there. Like, so I was like, oh, like,
Yeah.
I loved you too,
Yeah, you
Bert.
created a
know,
great
he's huge.
thing.
He's huge now.
Yeah.
And or the fact that once in a while we still get mentioned on Joe Rogan's podcast,
Totally.
and I'm like,
Yeah, you're
I haven't
known.
seen that guy in 8 fucking years, and he's like, oh, they were crazy there. They're blitzkrieged. All the candles couldn't stay lit. There's no oxygen, and I was like, did we scare you? Like,
Yo,
you
we
the big bag Joe Rogan, we scare you, little boy? Like, I get kind of like, how are you freaked out by that? You make people eat bugs. You talk about weird science all the time.
Yeah.
And yet he still is surprised at that. But
It
now,
was some hardcore smoke
I'm
sessions.
no I'm waiting now that he's opened the mothership. I'm like, do a smoking night, Joe. Like, that
Ooh,
mothership, it's Texas. Let them not give a fuck. Come on, do it.
yes.
Probably will. Just no one will. Everyone will have to keep it
I
secret.
guarantee,
Secret.
without even trying to brag about that one, I guarantee that him having experienced my club in Toronto, it's there in the back because he won't shut up about it. So I'm like, I bet he won't do that. I bet he won't.
Everyone
Totally
wants to do
does.
that. Every
Yeah.
stoner wants
And
to
that's
do that.
that was the
Hinchcliffe-
power of
Tony
your
Hinchcliffe
space.
was talking about me recently too,
Oh.
and
That's kinda cool.
he was talking about how it was crazy there. I couldn't handle it. Like how he greened out Doug Benson, and
Fuck
it's just like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
remember
left
that.
very, very high.
It was the place to go get very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I do remember it all. Like, well, once I got a slowly get the stories down, like in a chronological order.
I know we need to
Do
get
you
you a
have the stories
typewriter.
down?
Do you have a typewriter and storage space for all the paper? Did you video record much of it?
No, because weed was so illegal for a lot of it. We
Right.
had a no filming
You were
rule.
trying to not.
And
yeah.
if you took pictures, you had to get comedians' permissions. We had a very strict rule, and we would like stop people.
Yeah.
Hey, are you filming? Like on
It
the
was
stage.
Underground.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a story. I'm like, delete it.
Yeah.
Because
Low key.
it was also I
part of its charm.
felt don't laugh. I mean, there's a bit of quantum physics going on when like the observer is watching, like molecules act differently. So I feel that way about cameras and comedians.
I love that.
I think that they're freer.
You're right.
I think they're freer, and the minute that there's even an electronic eye, they
Yeah.
change. And the comedy's different.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
more contained.
You're right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well said.
I
The
even
double
feel
slit
that-
experiment. Yeah.
It's
That's
So
quantum physics.
there's been a couple times on the podcast. It happens a lot actually, but both of us have felt it where we're almost like, oh, like we forgot what was going on. We thought we forgot it, but other than those moments, there is a little bit of like, performative. Just a little bit. We're still trying to be relaxed and like, but I would say that there always is with the camera. It's like
think
another.
The generation that's being born into it right now versus me, I born into analog and transitioned into digital. I think the kids born into it have a likelier chance of being more relaxed. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, but did you ever experience analog? Like,
Yeah.
just
without
turn all
for a
this
minute.
off, eat a mushroom, and go for a walk, young teenager, and your mind will be blown. Like,
Yeah.
this internet stuff, what's it gonna like?
Yeah, it's true.
So
There's
I
wisdom in
wonder
that.
how much
There's wisdom in
how
that.
much they're missing and they don't know. So are they relaxed?
I think that like when we see,
Oh, chicken or the
people-
egg, eh?
yeah.
Philosophy deep 101.
Yeah, when
Just
we
saying,
see people
guys.
growing up
True.
with it, I think there's gonna I think there was like a negative impact that we had seen on like the first gen that had just digital right away.
I think you guys are definitely in all the fixing the bugs stage.
Yeah, well,
We shouldn't have done that
exactly,
one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are in
Sorry,
that stage
kids.
now where it's like, oh, we need to have boundaries around our electronics and stuff. Like that wasn't a thing. Like you didn't get your first phone and your mom was like, have some boundaries. Like
Yeah, that's
you were just
true.
on your phone the whole time, or like on the equivalent of like a Game Boy or something.
I remember seeing a thing, and it was, I don't know, it was just a news flash, I think, somewhere. But this teacher was making the kids turn their phones in, on and she put them on a desk, and I remember being like, what? They have to do that now? Like, they were like 8-9-year-old kids.
Oh, whoa.
Like kids, and they all had phones, and so she would make them put their phones in a basket, and the basket was sitting there. So, but she said that it was hard to even get their eyes off the basket,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh,
Could you imagine
I can't
being
even.
8? Could you
I
imagine
can't
being-
even. Like,
So I
were your
have
there was
priorities?
one phone in my school that was in the office.
Yeah.
to
I
beg to
know.
use it.
They were nice times. I feel grateful that we also missed. Like I think I was 15 when I got my first cell phone.
Kids are smarter though for it though. They can Google shit and find out like
Yeah,
actual
their
truth if they're
access.
taught how to filter through that and make sure you're not reading like a half truth. I think I wish I had Wikipedia definitely growing up. I could have been like, see teacher, I'm right. Like, or I've
Oh,
been like,
man,
oh
that
shit,
would
I
be
didn't
very
know that.
annoying.
Like I constantly am looking stuff up.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Access
can imagine
to
when my brain was anyway.
all the
I know.
memories.
It's
of the
so
earth.
fun to look stuff up too. Like if you're in a group and none of us know the answer, one of us can just pull out our phones and find it. And then we can just move on to the next
We don't
thing.
even have to type into it. Just hit that little microphone like, on go.
It's
we're
already
learning how to be
listening.
efficient. And learning what can come from if we create more time. But what we haven't done is created like structure around boundaries, essentially. I think we're learning that now. I think kids coming up, like, and parents coming up will be like, you can't all the time, and we have to watch this relationship, because Ellevan and I will go on walks phoneless, and we'll come back and, like, we're both like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. We don't need to look at our phones for the first couple minutes. So we'll walk around, but then we'll like grab the phone and be like in it for 15 minutes. And it feels like you're getting a hit. It does.
You are.
It does.
You are 1,000% getting a dopamine.
And I
fix.
haven't, I'll just let myself have that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's healthy or not.
I think it's okay if you're structuring it. I think I don't look at my phone. I now have it on quiet mode at midnight, and it's right on as long as I can till noon. So my phone doesn't make a noise between midnight and noon, period. I got to go look at my email or my Instagram if I want to know anything.
Yeah.
But then that stops me from like, oh shit, there's that little red button on the Instagram. Someone must have liked a reel I made. Like, and I got to know who liked the reel. Like, why do I need to know that? I can find that out in the morning so I can change my fucking night.
So true.
It's a bizarre feeling.
You ever see that it listens to you, like when you talk about something?
Oh man, I've turned off all my microphones on as many. If I can run an app without a microphone, it's off. You have to do it with each app. You can't just turn your mic off on any phone, period.
Okay.
So you go into each app and you find the microphone and you turn off the microphone. But then some things don't work. Like I took off a calculator off of my phone because like I turned off the microphone and they were like, your thing's not going to work. It's a calculator.
Yeah. And you don't want to be, why don't you want to be listened to?
I don't want the fucking annoying ads.
Okay. Okay, it's that. Yeah.
I've had my
I'm
microphone
going to spend
on.
all of my money somewhere, but like they'll be giving me ads for like Squarespace. Yeah, I got Squarespace.
Yeah.
Please
Get out of
tell
here.
me about Shopify if like there's a deal. Like
Yeah.
and so like there's this I'm not getting paid for their market research. So they're using us to do their market research.
Yeah.
And they're making money off, like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
Just this old school anarchist in me, like, I'm not getting paid for this. This is my intellectual property. I want to look up stupid shit on Google.
Yeah.
Do you
Anyway.
have I'm
Slowly giving in over time. Like I have to.
Yeah. It's good though. Stay strong. Do you have a particularly unforgettable 420 in your past?
Oh my God. 420 at Dundas Square was just like
Right? That's what I say.
But I would often speak. Okay, maybe the best 420, and not many people got to see it, but it was one of the last ones I spoke at, and it was about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and I remember they had just very quietly put marijuana in with tobacco on like the no smoking in Toronto rules, the Ontario Smoke Free Act. And I remember like a bunch of lounges. Abby Roach made a lot of noise about Hotbox because we're gonna lose our lounges. Like this is super. And I was like, holy shit! And then suddenly we have 2 weeks. They literally were like, oh, you got about 2 weeks to kind of protest this. And we're like, what? So we did this huge, and nobody's listening because they're all worried about dispensaries getting raided, because that was also during the time, during Project Claudia days when they were raiding all the dispensaries. So it was like, my weed, and we're like, our fucking lounges, So they, of course, it all went through. But I remember being super mad, and my friend Tracy Curley, rest her heart, she wrote "fuck Bill 45" on my ass in big fat marker, and I mooned all the cameras. I just took my pants down and said "fuck Bill 45."
Fuck yes.
Because I was like, none of you are listening to us about like how you're gonna lose your you're gonna watch in like 3-4 years. There's gonna be no lounge, and look, here we are, no lounges.
Ugh.
So that was probably a good moment.
So what can we do to get it back to where it's sustainable again?
Well, at this point, it's going to have to be edible lounges. They're never going to allow smoking inside.
How is Vancouver doing the new Amsterdam
you don't ever
cafe?
see that? In 10, 15?
If it's maybe might have a chance if we could add to the legislation. You can't take things away from bills. You can add to bills.
Oh.
But it also like you don't need to vote on that either, so they can just add weed to the bill and be like, yeah, nothing you can do. We're like, we need to like collectively vote on this. This could affect our culture. So adding to an existing bill
How does that type of is that government? How does that take such precedent? Like, that system is broken, clearly.
Yeah, they're just making decisions on behalf of like.
And they're not the people that.
And we're
use
in Canada,
things.
which is way less broken than other places. So
fair enough.
think about like how it got to that point. Yeah. So I think the only way they could do is add to this existing bill to like have a clause in for private space. And that now a private space, like if you decide to suddenly move over here and make this into a lounge, and you're allowed to, it's private space.
Yeah.
And now at that point, I think
that's what OPP is doing.
The other thing is that's definitely it's a private space. Same with Planet Paradise.
Yeah.
It's not like the door's not open to people walking in.
Yeah, I know.
But what was I saying? Fuck, indica.
Oh yeah, the system, the bill.
It was really good. You
listen to me. I'm
basically-
like, ugh, I don't want to talk about politics in here. I'm like, okay, so how it works about the bills.
Yo, that's crazy though.
No,
you
that's
would
good
know, 'cause
information.
You
I
have
didn't
to
know that.
Anyway, private clubs, I think, is about the only way we can go. Is that at least that's defendable. Like if you look at it in a war situation, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make him a fort. He's not gonna get in.
Yeah.
I think that's, what are you going to do? Like, spend a lot of money? If they're not selling like Cafe did, like, they're not going to go and put cement blocks in front of the goddamn place.
I know,
anymore.
wasn't that funny?
Was so fun.
That was
Remember
so
those cement
fun.
blocks,
Yeah,
guys?
they were
Oh
right
my
up there. We
God.
saw them all the time.
Oh, that's right. It's so close.
so close. It was silly. They were such big blocks.
It was like, this is what is this tax dollars, like going to like getting these blocks, moving them here?
They were huge
and it's
blocks.
so childish too. It's like, we're just
They
going.
were photogenic blocks.
Yeah,
They were.
It was a statement.
Yeah, they were. You're right. They were smooth.
They were
I meant in a
big cement.
giant, ugly way, but yeah, smooth.
No, they were like nice.
Because you couldn't climb them easily. Just only set up card tables.
Yeah.
Balls deep. You know what's funny?
Shout
I'll
out
never
Cafe.
forgive having an argument with somebody about like, yeah, but these guys are making so much money, and I'm just like, they're making peanuts compared to like, are you gonna go protest like all these big beer companies, like, or these big
I know.
pharma companies or big food company? You're gonna go stand out front of Galen Weston's or Jeff Bezos, like.
I know.
Cafe's making peanuts compared to the real world, so fuck off. Like, let us make our peanuts, because if they take a stand, then maybe there's a lot more room for independent people. But honestly, I think it was the pandemic that let it go. Like, fuck, open a weed store. Everyone just shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get all of Toronto high, and we won't whine like little babies.
That's the wisdom right there we've been searching for.
It's only Toronto that really needed that fucking chill pill.
Fuck.
I know.
True.
I work at a yoga studio, and we get a lot of people that like have flights from the UK to like their stewards or whatever on the planes, and they're like, towards the end of it, they were like, this shit's so fucked up. Like, we don't have to wear masks when we get on a plane in UK, but we have to have them because right before we land in Toronto,
Throw on.
after
These
5
rules
hours
don't
of
make
being
sense.
in a plane together, we just have to throw them on. And it was.
It's the
anyways.
virtue signaling. It's funny.
This weird halfway that we're still in.
Yeah.
We're like, are we grossed out by each other anymore? Are we dying? Like,
I think
No,
we
we just
are.
got
just
over
like
the
the
stomach
threat
flu.
of death, literally.
That's what
you
we
know,
talk
is-
about. We need to be less scared of death.
I have no problem protecting that. I'm actually not an anti-vaxxer or an anti like anything. I'm just like, fuck all that hate though. Ooh,
I know, all the
there was
beefing.
so much hate
Yeah.
during that time. We're like,
and
it's not
and it really showed us how easily we can like separate from one
on
another.
each other.
Yeah.
At the same time, there was a lot of, like, I'm noticing people aren't opening doors for each other anymore. Like, that was a thing, male or female, it didn't matter. I'm like, well, I've already touched the door, you go ahead. Like, there was a lot of that. Like, I live right downtown, too, and I think that just suddenly went out the door. And I'm like,
I know.
Fuck, I
It's
even
just
have groceries
getting
and the
close.
dog, and you're still not opening.
Yeah.
Getting close to people has now been, that's almost a no-no. You know, it's like in general, but fuck that. I
noticed,
I
though-
never stopped. I never.
We were kind to
I
each
still
other
open
during.
doors.
Yeah, for sure.
But we were extra kind to each other during, because I remember the first summer, like I don't remember time anymore, but like the first summer that we were kind of felt free
we were
because
all
it was summer and stuff.
traumatized.
And people were driving again because Toronto was literally a ghost town for a hot sec. And I remember
great.
like just, it was really cool. I got used to it too. It was cool. But I remember thinking people in vehicles felt a lot more hostile than during the pandemic, which I thought was funny because it was like, we're not in that anymore, or like we have freedom again for the first time, and you're just like choosing to be really angry.
Well, at the same time, we were all losing everything. So who knows what that person's reality was?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, did they lose a human being? Did they lose their career? Did they lose their job? Did they lose, you know, their wife? Because she said, fuck this, I'm not going to be with you 12 hours a day.
Absolutely.
Like, who knows what other people. So that was, I could see people dancing around like eggshells.
yeah.
And I think now we're seeing the backlash of it all. Like the PTSD's coming out and people, you know,
Yeah.
not talking about
It was so funny. We just like started living life again, and we're like, it's fine now.
It's cool. Everything's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. Remember when we were doing that, and now we're not anymore, and life is normal again. Crazy. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
But we're gonna deal with this one. I
Comedy.
think a lot of fuck.
I think honestly, comedy and live music are the best healing things
Yeah.
right now.
That's it.
I agree.
That's the music too.
That's
with it is a fabulous thing.
That's
It's
a good message.
soothing and feels good and gives us an opportunity
even
to
just
connect.
Go find some live jazz or, you know, some quiet. It doesn't have to be
Or come to
like,
Rhythm
I
and
like-
Flow on April
I like
29th.
ska punk music myself.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where
Punk.
I'm at.
Who's your
Getting
faves?
Nice.
Who's your faves?
Slackers are coming in a couple weeks. Can't wait.
Slackers?
Love them.
And they go, what's one of your favorite songs from them?
A lot of their songs.
All of them.
All of them.
What's
all
Where
of
are
them.
you seeing them?
What's
I
the
like how
title?
they perform, like when they do shows. I've been to many, and I brought them cookies. And one time, actually, we hotboxed all of Lee's Palace with an ounce of weed. That was a fun night.
Dope.
Yeah, one of the guys from the band came up to me. You know Sarah Gillies? I don't know if you know, she runs the pole dancing studio in the West End. Anyway, her and I often go to see Slackers together. But like one night, the guys come up to me, no clue who I am or who she is or how deep we are in the weed world, just that we're always there at every concert.
Oh my God, that's
And
so
like
cool.
the guy comes up and he's like, "Yo, you any good at rolling joints?" And I'm all like, "Yeah, what do you need?" So then he's like, "Yeah, some guy gave us this ounce of weed. So we just want you to roll it all up joints, and then we'll just give it to the crowd, like while they're performing."
Amazing.
So we did. We sat in the green room, rolled up all these joints, and then we like
Oh
had
my
little red
God.
cups like that, and like we put half in her cup and half in mine. I was like, let's go right in the mosh pit, right up front, so the band sees us do it. And then we did. We jumped around,
That is so
That's
fun.
so
Fun
fun.
night.
Where are you seeing them
and you
this
could
time?
you could see like security was like, oh fuck,
Oh my God.
too
Yeah.
late, and it was done. It was bombed, and it was done, and it was a good
What are you
night.
gonna do?
Anyway, that will never happen again, but that was
No.
fun.
that
That's
sounds like
so
a great
good.
experience.
Forgot about that memory temporarily.
That's a legendary memory.
Thanks for sharing it.
You've had a legendary life. It continues to be cool.
Whatever, just go have fun, guys.
Go have fun, guys.
That's the best.
Go have fungi.
Fun guys.
Mushrooms?
Fun guys.
We love
Fun
mushrooms.
guys and fun
Or
guys.
not. I mean, some people shouldn't.
Fair enough.
Some
Yeah.
people should, just go have fun.
Right on.
And that's enough. And some people should eat like a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah. And some people should just eat a little.
And don't judge me if I'm a mega doser, but
No.
Yeah.
No dosing
We
judgment
haven't tried.
here.
Yeah, we haven't tried a mega dose yet. I think in
I
next
can't do it in the city. That's the problem, is that
the vibration too much.
What's your mega dose? How many grams
like
is
8
that?
grams?
okay, what I like to do is do like a 3-day thing where I'll start off with just like half gram or gram and like enjoy the fire or walk in the thing. And then you have to eat like twice as much like as you're coming down in order for it to work because your body. Well, after 3 days, you're like, oh, I got to eat like 30 grams for it to even.
Yeah.
But that's not like the same as eating 30 grams all at once because you're already on this plateau of like.
Have you
But
eaten
I like
30
to do it
grams?
a little bit because on day 3 you gotta.
How many grams?
30?
Because like okay,
By the time
if you do
it all
one,
collects up.
and then like 6 hours later you gotta do 2 grams, and then 6 hours later you gotta do like 4 grams.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then,
okay. So,
So
it
by the
is
end-
doubling.
So then by the ending,
oh,
if you're
shit.
doubling
oh,
it-
that does double. Yeah, that.
But
wow.
I've only been able to go two nights no sleep, and then I'm like I'm done.
2 nights.
Wow.
You just like keep eating them and
Holy
just have
fuck.
just like have quiet periods where
Yeah.
you're not running around like a crazy person that whole time.
No, for sure.
Go in the tent, stare at the top of the tent for a while, like oh my god, stare at the the fire, like oh it's sun's coming up, okay time to go swimming. I don't know.
Do you find like do you feel more connected to God on mushrooms, like when you do big doses like that?
That's a heavy question.
I know that. I'm sorry that it is a heavy question, and I was
The
trying to
universe harmony.
actually say it in a different way, and it
you
didn't.
do
it wasn't
enough
happening.
mushrooms, and then you start to see that everything is God,
Yeah.
and then
There it
there's
is.
nobody like that you need to please anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's just like that. There's too many anecdotal that.
I'm not anti-God or anti-religion or anti-spirituality at all, but it's all how you look at it. Do you look
Yeah.
at it like frontal? Do you look at it from above, from the side, from
Yeah.
whatever angle you're looking at it? Like now, oh, it's now Allah. Oh, now it's Buddha. Oh, now it's like
Yeah.
whatever.
everything.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Christ.
Cool.
But then
I was
also
I was just curious.
understanding a
Beautiful.
tiny bit about physics and quantum physics sort of helps you with that
Yeah,
a little bit when you
exactly.
go back on a trip and you're like, oh, I see. Okay, well, we're all right. It's all good. We're all correct.
We're all correct.
We're all correct,
We're
guys.
all a conscious expression.
So
I
it's just
am
like how you
due.
saw it and how I
Yeah.
saw it and
Just do
what
it.
I think I'm
age
gonna
you're
do a
in.
little trip next week.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I think that's gonna be the name of this episode.
Oh, I love that.
Just do it with PuffMama.
Do it.
Go find a nice spot to walk where there's no one's gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Environment
like
is
don't
key
go to
for sure.
Dundas Square.
No.
Too
Yeah.
much stimuli.
Yeah, I know so many people actually that have used mushrooms in like a very social sort of party setting, and I'm like, I don't know
I can do
how
it if
you've
I
done
have
that.
alcohol in the mix because then
Oh.
it mellows that. So
Oh, okay.
So you do
if
enjoy
you're
alcohol.
drinking, well, also if you're drinking and then you eat a mushroom, you can just drink all night. But you just,
Stefan does that.
suddenly I'm like, how did I drink 24 beers? I'm like, because I ate a bunch of mushrooms.
Oh wow.
But then you're not tripping like in a spiritual level. You're
Right.
just like awake and one with everyone. Like it's more on a fun.
Yeah,
Stefan loves
plain.
that future magic. He's like, I love beers and mushrooms.
It's
That's his thing.
just a different chemistry. So I hate people who do hallucinogens and knock like the addition of alcohol. You're like, well, it's just different.
Yeah, I know.
So
Oh wow.
I was a pretty hating alcoholer for a little while, but I've backed off a
it
lot.
can be a nasty thing. So it's
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah, but it was, I think I was trying to justify my cannabis usage, like in the end when I was like, oh man, I'm just trying to justify my cannabis usage by saying like, oh, you have a thing too, essentially. So I don't care anymore.
I'd
I
be.
think also it depends on what you've witnessed in your life. So I know some people that never want to touch alcohol again because they not only witnessed, they may have caused some trauma.
Yeah.
Just and it's not them; it's the reaction of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what you gonna do?
It's true.
All I had was good experiences. My dad cracked a beer and we just hang, and my dad's cool.
That's sick.
Do you have a favorite song right now?
Whoa. Favorite song? I don't know.
Okay. You don't have to.
I keep thinking of the Slackers because I'm going to see them in a couple
Where
weeks.
are you seeing them?
They'll
Where's
be,
the venue?
I think they're at Lee's Palace.
Oh,
Sick.
cool.
Yeah, it's a
That's so
venue.
fucking
They're
cool.
It might be Opera House.
Oh, nice.
It's either Lee's or Opera House.
Are you at the Opera House?
Yeah,
On the
Might be
15th.
Opera
on the
House.
15th.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. PuffMama, I'm so glad. Hopefully the first of many visits back to the show. Thank you so
Love
much
to
for
have
hanging
you
out with us.
hanging out.
Yeah, thank you for
There's so
taking
much
the
wisdom
time.
in this. I can't even like begin to reflect.
Yeah, we got high too.
Yeah, it was so sick.
What was that weed we smoked?
Is it a dough?
The dough.
Oh yes, you're
So
right.
that's why I'm dull.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, we're gonna link your
Excuse me.
website in the link below if you're watching on YouTube and any on Anchor, Spotify for podcasts. Is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, and where can they find you?
PuffMama.ca or puffmama420.com.ca. And that's
be
what's
below.
on my Instagram, puffmama420. And I'm here today, and I'm at Comedy Bar every Wednesday, and I do a whole bunch of girl shows all over the city, so you can watch out for a whole bunch of girl action.
Yeah, get on your mailing
And,
list.
Get on my, that's on my Instagram. You just, they've got that good old link tree, so then I could just say, go there.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that great?
So handy.
Yeah. Thanks, Linktree.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Linktree.
If you're looking to sponsor anyone, Linktree.
Link us.
Disciplined stoners.
Here we are. As always, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Check out our Patreon, Rhythm and Flow 3 if you're in Toronto, April 29th. We'll link that in the description below. And follow us on Instagram because we are growing, baby.
Thank you. Love you. Check out PuffMama. This was fucking awesome.
Puff, puff.
Bye.
Thank you.
Disciplined stoners. What's your discipline? You a stoner? That's cool. So are we. I'm high a lot. It's weird to finally say that with pride. I'm high a lot. Being high has helped me with my anxiety. It's helped my social skills. Well, it's helped me feel okay about my shitty social skills. It doesn't make my social skills better, but it sure does make sitting in that awkward moment in a social interaction a lot more bearable. You know, that moment where no one in the group has anything left to say, and you desperately want to yell at all of them, just say something. Being high makes that hilarious and not torture. Yo, it's Ellevan from Anger Town. These plants just helped me chill out. Found focus, found confidence. All of a sudden I was productive, less protective, more progressive. Yeah, we talk about stuff like I'm a next sommelier, but this is about a medicine, baby. We wish everyone a mindful life. It's been a helpful tool for us. And whatever the route to peace, it's each individual's journey. And the more we communicate, maybe we can all help each other out. Love and light. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners Podcast with your host Ellevan,
And my name is Winnie.
and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And that's Ralph.
One day we're gonna do a collage of all the times like a brilliant person just said like it's medicine.
Cannabis is a gift from Mother Earth.
Cannabis helped to heal me. Those natural medicines that we use to help to heal us. And of course, they have this euphoric effect, or can.
It's an alternate natural way of healing. And I just think it's so beneficial, and there's so many good properties to weed.
I mean, that's the only difference in my life is I've added cannabis. The amount I've changed and the way our family has evolved and our relationships with my adult sons and everything, like just all through cannabis. it's been amazing.
It's part of my life. Like you said, you really can't separate me and the cannabis plant. I use it medically.
Yes.
I have fibromyalgia, diagnosed with fibro very, very young, and I use cannabis to treat my fibro very effectively.
Was through an event that caused her major anxiety that I got her to take a few puffs.
Yeah.
And it helped.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, from being up here to being able to cope.
You know, we've got naturopathic medicine and natural health products that rely on hundreds of years of traditional use.
Yes.
Which, you know, both cannabis and mushrooms technically fall under.
Yes.
If you can keep it at that sweet spot and it's in a healthy way, I feel like that's
it's medicine.
Yeah, I think
it's medicine.
You have to like check in with your life and be like,
medicinal.
It felt like it complemented my personality.
Yeah.
Almost.
Good answer.
It's okay to use cannabis as their medicine. They no longer deserve to be in classrooms and hear that they're using drugs and they're bad, when this is medicine that is saving their lives.
Yes.
I mean, I would never put anything on the market that I wouldn't give to my mom or my grandfather.
Those strains are fantastic for pain management, nausea. This helps with pain management.
And I feel fantastic. Like I feel great. Do I attribute it to cannabis and cannabis oil? Absolutely, I do.
Relationship to cannabis right now is beautiful, growing, most probably everlasting.
I think this is medicine.
Dude.
120%.
I've got ADD, and I'd use cannabis to help kind of focus me in and kind of turn things off. Like, it very much is medicine.
It was medicinal for me. It was like taking a medicine because that's how it worked.
Cause I can see your energy, and I'm waiting on your frequency to rise. Before you interact with me, before you collab with me or try, better get up on your frequency. If you tryna see me, share the same space or breathe anywhere near where I be. If you tryna get by, then your vibe gotta rise. Yeah, I'll tell you when